Good evening. Hello. My name is Nick Quigley. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of a company called 104 Tickets. What we do is really cool. So you may be a subscriber currently to one of thousands of brand new services that are out there that are just a monthly subscription service to something that is something that you know in general, but don't know exactly until you get it in the mail. The shirt I'm wearing right now is from a company called the 5-4 Club, where when I signed up, I told them that I would prefer something from the male side of things that is dark, that fits a 16.5 size collar, etc., etc. So I didn't know that I would be getting this shirt, you know, and then one day I got the shirt and I loved it. So the goal of that company is to kind of give you a broader wardrobe by giving you things that you may not have immediately purchased in the store if you were there or had them on, etc. And you can only return them if they really just don't fit. If you don't like it, then just tough, you know. So this is actually kind of the same exact thing, just with tickets. So there are currently subscriptions for a monthly whiskey, a monthly bacon, monthly shirt. Why not monthly classical music tickets? In the Boston area, there are over 590 professional, not-for-profit musical arts organizations. So the Boston Symphony Orchestra, Boston Ballet Orchestra. I'm sure that someone could name one, at least one, in this group as well. All of which need some support getting their tickets moved at some point. So they all produce really great, high-quality performances that people want to see. It's just that there are going to be a few that need the additional help, and that's where they have to spend money every year in order to move those tickets. That's called programmatic marketing. Institutional marketing for not-for-profits is a lot more effective, so to have a big event where donors can come, that's where, that's kind of the bigger deal. So my goal is to eliminate the programmatic marketing costs so that they can invest that money into hiring more or better musicians, doing more new works, or perhaps going into their hall too, so that they can invest that money directly into their art, you know? Let me go into a bit about who we are. Got a scroll. Thank you. So as you know, this is going to be a subscription classical music ticket service that is going to serve only the Boston area. At capacity, we're only going to have 5,500 people enrolled in our service. There are 3,000 seats in Symphony Hall. I think that 5,500 is pretty reasonable for this, you know. And off of every ticket that moves through our service, 20% will be retained in the company. Taylor Swift is very impressed. So the social impact here is that more people will have access to great live classical music on a regular basis. It's hard to go out every day. It's hard to find out what composers you like, what performances you're going to like, what programs you're going to like. The other night I saw Alvin Berg's Violin Concerto coming directly out of some of Bach's choral works. I never thought that would work, and it was beautiful. But if I were on the VSO's website choosing my program for the night, who knows? But that was a transformational experience for me. Also, I'm a classical violist. I love symphonic music, and if I had all the money in the world, I would spend it on VSO tickets. Not necessarily about the Boston Ballet. However, I have seen ballet performances, one of which was transformational. But what if there was somebody who decided to spend their money elsewhere and didn't get that experience? With the 104, you're going to get that experience. You might be introduced to new organizations, new composers, new programs that you just didn't know about before, because they either weren't marketed properly, or you didn't have the time to sit at home, find your program, and do your thing, you know? And also, it can be tough to get into the world of classical music, as you might know. I'm a classical violist. It's easy for me because it is my world, but I understand that, you know, it's not always easy to know, oh, Shostakovich 5 or Shostakovich 2, I don't know. And you have to go on YouTube, listen to the entire 42-minute symphony, and make your decisions, you know? With this, it's right in front of you. This is the basic breakdown of our income, basically. So let's say the average subscription ticket price would be $99 a month. So this isn't necessarily a cheap service, but it is cheaper than going to purchase an individual ticket. Our average ticket price is going to be $20. So there will be some tickets that cost more regularly, some tickets that cost less regularly. We will be creating specific deals with the organizations because they have a great opportunity to not spend money on programmatic marketing. And as I said, 20%, thank you so much, 20% of all of our money will be retained in the company for every ticket that moves through. So if you have an average subscription service where you have, and by subscription, I mean like you signed up to be going to concerts on, say, Thursday nights, time, it's all done? Cool. On, say, Thursday nights, and you want to go to 2 events every month, and you want to receive 2 tickets to every event. So it's going to be you and someone that you love or know, or a stranger that you pick up along the way. So it's essentially 4 tickets for every month. Of that price, 20% remains with me, and the rest goes to the organization. But as you know, less money gets spent on programmatic marketing that doesn't really work too well anyway. And here are our total profits projection of our 5-year profits. As you can see, we plateaued because I decided that 5,500 people was going to be enough for me. And then we dipped down to spend some money on website upkeep, marketing, special events, etc. Thank you very much for your time. Hello.
Nick, do you take inventory of the tickets, or are you more like a StubHub broker?
Yeah, actually, everything will move directly through me. So every month when we meet with the organizations, the goal is to have this plan planned out years in advance once everything is going. But yeah, everything will be staying with me, and then everything at the very beginning will be literally me putting tickets into envelopes, putting the postage on, hitting send, you know.
And so at some point, if you have 5,500 subscribers,
We're gonna need some automation.
you're gonna, and $20 average ticket cost, that's what, $110,000 a month working capital? And so, how are you gonna fund that?
We're actually, so the reason why I'm in the DifferenceMaker competition now is to basically to prove my point. The first 4 months of our operations are funded entirely through this program, and they will pay for the envelopes, the tickets. About 80% of our costs are going to be the tickets, postage, et cetera, After month 4, because $5,000 will get us through to month 4, that's when I'm going to start to reach out to investors, potentially angels, even though it would be in the seed area for like, say about $110,000 to get going for everything. That would fully fund everything if we were to break it up. Actually,
That
right
would
here.
fund 1 month. That would fund 1 month of working capital.
That would actually fund, well, if we received $110,000 in this area over a few months, this would actually be enough to get us off the ground, to pay for the website to be developed, to pay for the back-end automation, to pay for staffing, to pay for insurance, legal counsel, everything that I've considered so far.
And is there a risk? And I ask because myself and a lot of other folks that own like season tickets to the Red Sox or something, or you have to sell them on StubHub, and you don't sell them all the time. And so you eat tickets. And so what's your expectation of what's your expectation of the percentage of tickets that will go unsold and therefore like you'll lose? And do you base that on, say, the industry average of maybe 10 or 12% of tickets being lost or not used?
So at the very beginning, it's actually, that number should be 0, because at the very beginning, I won't actually be ordering tickets until I know exactly how many people are subscribed. As we move forward, that will be something that I will have to research, because I actually do not know what their loss is for something like StubHub or anything like that. But I'm assuming that perhaps if I were to make deals closer to kind of the beginning of each month, where I have a much better understanding of who is subscribed, then that should be curved. And then also, in month 25 or 26, when we kind of reach capacity or projected capacity of 5,500 people, I know I have this many people subscribed. I know they want to see this many events every month, and they want to receive this many tickets to each event.
I have a kind of a general market or cultural question, and I saw your performance last night. You did a good job. So that's all. But I just read a study in preparation for this presentation, and one of the studies was by two nerds at Notre Dame, and they basically evaluated the likes and dislikes of different types of music. And by far, within the millennial, your target market group, the least liked and the most disliked music was classical music. And the dislike is growing. It grew from 8% in 1998 to 15%. And so I'm wondering, I think what you're doing is great and it's noble, but are you kind of pushing against the tide here? Do you really think there's a large market for this?
Everything that we do is pushing against the tide. So at this time, if you go for a quick Google search of orchestras or operas that have closed, or things that have failed for any reason, you'll find a bazillion results because it's easy to get locked into kind of bad business practices when you're working for a not-for-profit, and kind of, it's easy to get caught up in results like that. So what we'll be doing here is taking the general interest in millennials to go out and have an experience. There is a lot of research that does support the fact that millennials want to go out, network with each other. Actually, there's a lot of research with regard to restaurants. I think the restaurants love millennials. They go out all the time, So it's clear that millennials want this kind of going out, getting out of the house experience with each other to network. But perhaps this could be a new way to do that. Yeah.
My questions about classical music and millennials.
I have some different questions. I'm trying to understand the cost structure of this. So your average ticket is going to be $20.
Yes.
What will you buy the ticket for? How much are you going to pay for this?
That'll be, actually, so when that was given to you, that means that's a cost to me. That's how much I'm spending on the ticket.
So that you're going to average $20 a purchase.
Exactly.
The subscriber, how will the price that they pay for the ticket compare to the price they would pay if they bought the ticket through StubHub or directly through the Symphony or whatever?
Who here has purchased a live music ticket in the last year? One person? 2 people? 3 people? 4 people? Anyone else want to come out of the woodwork? 6 people. Was it more or less than $20? Way more. Yeah.
Well, but my point is, what's the value to the institution to provide you tickets at such a low price that you'll be able to charge something below the street price and 20% profit?
That's a great question. And actually, at this time, well, basically, the value proposition for them is that they no longer have a need to spend money on programmatic marketing. If, say, the Mahler concert coming up on Friday, only half the house is sold, now they don't have to go publish more newspaper articles, more Facebook. They don't have to spend money on Facebook ads. They don't have to invest their money in that because those tickets have already moved through me. They have an idea of what tickets aren't, of what shows are not going to sell given the point of the year. For example, if there's something very contemporary scheduled in the month of January, the Boston Symphony knows that's going to be tough to sell. They're going to have to spend money on programmatic marketing for that. So they can do everything in their power to not schedule things like that. It does happen. And that's when my service could come in and just move those tickets for them.
My other question is, you're showing revenue increase from year to year. What is the logic that suggests that you're not going to have an equal drop-off in subscribers to the amount of new subscribers?
Well, actually,
I mean, some people might say, this is fun for a year, where I get to know where I'm going to go every month. But after a year, they might say, I really like the symphony, so I'm going to subscribe to the symphony. So,
hold on,
how
can you say
many?
that again?
My point is
amazing.
that one of the interesting things about this company is the surprise aspect. I don't know where I'm going to go, let's say next month or next week. And it's fun to be exposed to a lot of different venues. And after doing it for a year, will I want to continue to do it? Or will I say, I had this exposure to these several different venues, and I decided I really like this one, so I'm just going to become a subscriber to that venue. My point is that there's going to be, for every subscriber that you add, there's going to be some number of subscribers that are going to disappear. Yeah, so how are you going to maintain the revenue growth?
You actually described the exact kind of customers that I want. You shouldn't be a customer of my service for more than a year. You should be using the service to kind of get into the world, you know? Once you have an idea and you know that you love the volumes of symphony, please subscribe to them. In the 20th century, they had an 80% subscription rate. They didn't have to spend money on programmatic marketing. Now that number is more like 20%, and they do. This is gonna lessen that gap. My market is essentially the difference there. However, with other services, like with other subscription services, their retention rate is actually fairly high. They project anywhere from 75 to 95% retention rate. So once those folks are in, for the most part, they are in, and the marketing efforts will have to just be maintained in order to maintain that building list of subscribers until we reach our sweet spot, and then it's just becoming maintaining that, and perhaps having a wait list.
Good question. So naturally, venue's gonna have some shows that are gonna be more popular than others, and I'd say most of the time you should probably project what's gonna be popular.
Definitely.
So what's gonna stop them from using like a Groupon to push a show that they know is gonna need a little bit more traction versus your service when they know they're gonna sell out of certain shows?
So do you mean why would they use Groupon versus why would they use the 104?
Right. So with them, do they sit with you and they pick which shows they want you to offer?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can do
all
that,
right.
yeah, definitely.
Question.
Actually,
If they
now
have a
that,
popular show they know they're gonna sell out,
yeah,
they
exactly.
wouldn't want a discount because it's obviously for them.
Exactly. I would hope to have the kind of relationship with the organizations that is back and forth like that all the time, so that we sit down and plan out the year ahead, because their marketing team will have, their marketing team and their artistic team will know exactly what's happening for that year. And they're gonna know what's gonna need some assistance to sell. However, if there's an emergency coming up, I would like to have the kind of relationship where they can reach out to me and be like, by the way, is there room to squeeze tickets into your service for this month? And then hopefully I'll have the money and the subscribers to do that for them. It wouldn't necessarily be a guarantee, I guess, though. But I would like to get to the point where we can have a back and forth and problem solve each month.
You want to position yourself with those providers, with the
Exactly.
symphonies, as basically a lead generation tool to say, I'm going to introduce you to Glenn Morgan, who's not going to go there, but he may fall in love with it, like Jack said, he may become a subscriber, and you should get a piece of that. You should say, if anyone of my 5,500 people becomes a subscriber, then I want 10% of that.
My other kind of selling point for them is these organizations use a software called Tessatura that tracks all of their audience and donor information. I would automatically give my subscribers information to them, whether or not they've actually received a ticket to me. So now they can be sending direct marketing to those people, because they know that these are people who want live classical music experiences. They don't know for sure if they've actually been to the BSO unless they're already in their Tessatura system, for example. But now that's just one more person to send direct marketing to. Yes.
I just one last question. Assuming that this works and it's successful, you're going to lose over $100,000 in the first 19 months. So how are you going to fund the first 19 months?
I think, well, actually, I'm just going to look at my financials really quickly. Because my 5-year financials actually predict that.
Now, I'm not talking about what you're going to do over 5 years. I'm just talking about you don't start making a profit until month 20.
Yes. So actually,
So for 19 months, you're going to be losing money.
So for 19 months, we plan on actually existing on a combination of mainly investment money. It was actually
So you're going to
originally
seek outside investment.
outside investment, definitely. I was originally considering loans, but after contacting a few local entrepreneurs who have kind of been in the industry for a while, they said that's not going to happen. So I'm thinking angels and seed investors at first, perhaps seeking angels and getting less than what they would normally give. Perhaps taking on someone as an advisor would help too. And then as we build steam, perhaps being able to take out a loan as well, not having to ask straight up.
And just so you know, when you use $100,000 of an investor's money, she or he still thinks of that as a loss,
Yeah.
right? Because you have to make it back, because they want to get their money back.
Yeah, so we would have to create a clear number saying in so many months we'll show this kind of return for you. Yeah.
Thank you very much.